There is sometimes where you cannot record.
We got it.
Yeah, they know? They know. Okay, Fayrouz, you guys sit down, have a seat. Come on. We only got 1 hour. Yo.
Are we set to start? We got some people coming in, so. Good evening, we're going to get started. My name is Mazen Alatrash. I'm one of the members of Dearborn Parents for Better Schools. I'm a resident just like everybody else here. I want to thank you all for taking the time to coming in today and devoting this hour to learn more about this school bond that's coming up. I also want to thank UAW for hosting us. This is an informational session only. The agenda today is I'm going to give a short presentation, then I'm going to allow some time for our speakers to present, and then we'll open up to questions and answers, so please hold off any questions until the end, please. Thank you. We have Mr. Renato Jamet, Mr. Michael Covey, Mr. Paul Soma. They come from Raymond James, and one of them, we're blessed to have them here today. Some have been experienced being former superintendent of Traverse City, and they have a lot of information to share with us today. Dr. Radwan Saad will be giving a closing statement today. So our platform is to raise awareness about city issues affecting our city, neighborhoods, and public schools. We will advocate on behalf of all of the residents the following: fiscal responsibility, school infrastructure, economic vibrancy, informed and engaged community transparency, and sustainability. This is really what brought us out to form this committee and to tackle issues such as the school bond, such as taxes, and such as millages. We're a grassroots organization, and our goal is to make Dearborn better for everybody. The problems that are affecting our schools are many. We have outdated schools, some buildings reaching 100 years old. We have overcapacity. We have inadequate teacher resources. In some schools, that average reaching 30-to-1 students to teacher ratio. We have a big problem with the drug epidemic and inadequate security. So, just as a background before we dive deep into it, the school district put out a school bond for $240 million, set to vote on November 5th. And one of the common lines that was being told is this is not a tax increase. We think that is misleading because this actually is a tax increase. Anytime you have an expiring bond and you renew the bond, you're renewing the taxes that come with it. So if you have a home mortgage and you're towards the last payment of your home, if you renew your mortgage or buy a new home, that adds new payment. If voters approve the bond proposal in November, you will pay the same millage as you were paying the years before, and that's extended over a 20-year lifespan. If the bond does not pass, the estimate is about 8% drop in your taxes, property taxes. There's no way that you can renew a bond without renewing the taxes, and we'll leave that to the bond experts to talk about more in details. We've always asked the question, why this year? And one of the main answers that we felt was a little bit misleading too is that the economy is good, the taxes, the interest rates are low, construction prices are at an all-time low, and we felt that was misleading and borderline false. One of the main things that this is being pushed this year is because residents might not feel a tax increase. If this were to be set for next year, your taxes will be lower and you will feel that tax increase later on. So we felt that that's a misconception and we wanted to clear it out. So the cost of the bond is $240 million. That's the principal amount of the loan. We've asked the question, well, what about other costs? Is it just $240 million or are we paying more? The bond experts will address some of these questions too, but in general, every bond has an interest on it. And the interest rate on this bond is about 4%. There's also something called cost of issuance of a bond, which can fluctuate anywhere from 2 to 8%. So if you do the math, you would be paying north of $400 million over a 20-year lifespan of this time span of this bond. And that's not taking into consideration any economical changes, any changes in your interest or any changes in the economy. In brief, we've had a 2002 bond, which was worth $150 million for school improvements, 2013 SMART bond for $76 million, 2016 RESA bond. The 2002 bond is set for 20 years, so it expires in 2022, and the 2013 SMART bond is set for 10 years, and it expires in 2013. The 2019 bond is a 20-year bond, so keep that in mind. So when we started looking into the details about this bond and what it covers and what kind of issues does it address in the schools and what was done from 2013 and from 2002, we found a few things that were a little bit kind of confusing and kind of a little bit discomforting when we started asking the real questions. So if you look at this on the left-hand side, you have one of the schools that was fixed in 2013, specifically the roof and the parking lot. And then you look at now, and it's sort of the same thing. We're replacing a roof, we're resurfacing a parking lot when it's only been done 6 years ago. I mean, how many of you guys put a new roof on every 5-6 years? I don't think that makes a lot of sense, right? And actually, just questions till then, please, just if you want to write them down. Do you want a pen? Questions then? One of the schools even had, on the 2013 bond, an actual warranty on the roof, and it's actually being replaced now too, and it's all on the record, it's on the website. This is another example. So Salina Elementary, it was built in 2003. In 2013, we spent almost $450,000 for upgrades. Now we're asking for $4.4 million. So $4.4 million and almost $450,000, that's almost $4.8 million when a school is only 15 years old. I mean, it's a new school. These are some of the overlaps between 2013 and 2019. Again, roof, carpets, etc. Before I go into this slide, I want to explain something. In 2017, as everybody knows, a committee was formed from citizens and residents around Dearborn, local business owners, residents, etc. 65 members. They toured the schools, and they came up with a list of what needs to be replaced or fixed, along with a cost analysis. Now, mind you, a project this big in any city, just like every city out there, you need an engineering and like an engineered cost analysis where you have engineers and experts who come out and give prices. So when these were divided per school, you notice here 2 different schools, and this is for 2019. Look how many items are being done for Oakman for $5.1 million, and then the other school for $5 million. There's a huge discrepancy in the cost for $5 million. Transparency. So this issue came up, I'm sure a lot of people heard about it. Lindbergh, when the BRICS bond website first came out, they mentioned that there was a pool that they wanted to replace the boilers and add pool pumps. Then it was found out that Lindbergh doesn't actually have a pool, so it was fixed. The budget stayed the same. When we asked about this, the answer was, we'll find something to work on in Lindbergh. The other point that I want to tackle today is urgency and timing. We've heard a lot of statements out there that our schools are, they're closing down, boilers are malfunctioning, security issues, we need to address this urgently, and we agree, we do. We want better schools, we want better security, we want our schools to be state of the art. It's for our children. But when you look at the timing and how this bond is divided, so of the $240 million, you have $75 million being spent from 2020 to 2023. And then the rest is from 2023 to 2027. So if you look at the majority of the work being done in 2020 and 2023, that's mostly carpeting and windows and doors and fountains and lockers. The major stuff like boilers and pipes and video surveillance is not until 2023 or 2024. So the question that we've asked multiple times and not got a clear answer to is, why are we borrowing so much money paying so much interest on it, and the bulk of the work is not until 2023. The second question is, we've had over 200 school shootings in the US. Why are we waiting till 2023 or 2024 to update this security? I mean, I have friends who go to Dearborn High to pick up their kids, and they can go in and out without anybody asking them a question. And part of that stuff was promised to us in 2013. We're not seeing any of it. So to address the urgency and timing, we don't see an urgency in this bond specifically. It's not addressing urgency. So that's what we have today. I'd like to welcome our panel for the bond experts to speak and talk a little bit more, and then after they're done, we'll open it up to questions and answers.